Hello, my name is Jonathan Ringer, and I'm going to go over a little bit more of like the fundamentals of what Nix-shell actually does underneath the covers. This might be really beneficial for people who are kind of getting more intuition about Nix-shells, like after they've kind of used it for a little bit. And a lot of this information necessarily is going to be super useful for day-to-day things, but for additional hacking around Nix-pkgs, it could be pretty useful. So fundamentally, what Nix-shell tries to do is reproduce a environment in which you're trying to build a package. So, for example, if I go to Nix-pkgs here, I can go and import all of Nix-pkgs, and then I can look at a particular environment. So, for example, I'll just pick on CMake for today. Sorry for the twiddling. I need to replace my NVIDIA GPU. Right. If I do like what's the CC and certain things like that, you'll see that this is set up to build CMake. And because I didn't do pure, hold on here. Let me just do pure to kind of clean up things. If I were to do env here, you'll see that a lot of this is meant for building a package. So you can see that like pkg config is defined, and a bunch of stuff that you would kind of expect for Nix, building Nix-pkgs is available. And so then this is fundamentally what Nix-shell tries to do. And it also has a few other commands which kind of help with this as well. So the -a is for adder, and since CMake is a top-level attribute of Nix-pkgs, and default.nix in this case is pointing to Nix-pkgs, that is why I'm getting this environment. But you can also do other things as well. So if you want to do largely anything, the capital E is for an expression, and so here we really want to pass a derivation to this expression command. So we could do something like import Nix-pkgs. And then you could do like standard env.make derivation and do something like bring in some build inputs. And then in this particular case, I would like CMake. And I think that should be right. Derivation missing name. Alright, so I also need a name. I'll just give it foo. And here, that worked. Yeah, but in a similar vein, if I were to do env here, you can see that it's a very similar scenario where now, before when I did the -a on CMake, I was looking at the CMake derivation. Here, since I just ad hocly defined a foo derivation, I'm looking at that and I'm bringing in CMake. So when I do this, we can do pure to make this a better example. Okay, but I would be able to run CMake. CMake is available, and this is one of the benefits of the Nix-shell. There is a shorthand convention for this. That is the -p command. So if I just wanted to bring in CMake here in a particular environment, you can do Nix-shell -p and do CMake. And in a similar vein, now I can do CMake in here. Let me do pure again, just to make sure that's not coming from the outer environment. Yeah, so you can run CMake. And that's really just the difference, is that this -p command just does the wrapping for you, where it will kind of add all of these packages that you list into a list of inputs into like a run command, temporary, ephemeral derivation, and that's what it's actually doing underneath the covers. And one thing that I kind of mentioned before is this -pure command, this -pure. This is really beneficial because then your outer environment is not going to leak inside, and it will give you like more assurance that your shell.nix or whatever that you're producing actually succeeds in other people's environments as well. Like, oh, I forgot that I have cargo in my home path. If you do a workflow with --pure, then you have like 100% certainty that someone else can then reuse your shell.nix, and you don't really care about what their home environment is. Okay. finished. So one other thing that you can do with Nix-shell, you can also do --run. This is really beneficial because then, like for example, doing reviews on Nixpkgs, we usually ask people to use Nixpkgs review to reiterate over their PR and build all the downstream, the reverse dependencies of a package to make sure that they didn't break anything. And so then you can say, hey, Nix-shell, please bring in Nixpkgs, and then also run Nixpkgs. Let me use proper quotes here, and then you can do like PR, and then like my PR. Like I don't even know, I don't know if that's an actual PR. No. Wait, because I'm dumb. Okay, but yeah, you could do something like that. I don't know if that's an actual PR, and also I think we're in like the mid 90,000s right now, so this is going to be a very, very old PR, probably from prior to like 2014. So I'm going to quit that now. But yeah, you can see here is that you can kind of leverage this, where now not only are you bringing in packages, but then also you're able to execute a command. This can also go one step further, where you can then create a script which is also able to do like a shebang, and then also run without any type of like assumptions about what is available in that user's environment. So I'm going to go into here, just grab real quick, look for show that. Let's just do this. Okay, so there's a few of them. Let's see if any one of these is a good one. So like evaluate hydro failures. This looks like a nice one. Yeah, so if you look here, the top two lines, if you don't know, shebang always needs a absolute path. However, there's a nice convenience that /user/bin/env, you can give it a command name, and then it will return an absolute path of certain things. So this will resolve what Nix-shell is pointing to. On the second hand line, Nix-shell then also will read in these additional lines where it is prefix, or not prefix, but like Nix-shell is at the beginning of it. What this is saying is that like Nix-shell, I'm going to use this interpreter to evaluate the actual script. So we're going to use the Python 3 command, and then also bring in these packages in here. So this Python script also requests the request PyQuery and click Python packages, and now you don't really care if they have any Python packages installed, because this Nix-shell usage will bring those in. So if people say that like Nix enables people to write scripts which can also download their own dependencies, this is absolutely true, and this is kind of facilitated through Nix-shell command. And you can see here, the rest of this is just a regular Python script, but we have the guarantee that request PyQuery and click will be available when they go to run this. So, yep. There was one more example that I wanted to go over with Nix-shell. That was okay, so here I'm just going to be doing a Nixpkgs review on PR 94976, which is a Python bump that I did earlier today. It's for the MS REST packages, so then all of the Azure Python packages get rebuilt, which is why there's the huge list there. But the problem though is that like if I wanted to test this and I do like import MS REST, I'll likely run into error, but I didn't here. In a lot of cases what happens is that since I'm building this for multiple Python interpreter versions, it will usually hop around which Python packages that are meant for specific versions, and that can cause conflicts where like I start from a 3.7 environment, but then I go into 3.8, and then something gets tripped up. Luckily, in this case, Nix-shell is really useful. You can do pure here, and then I can do something like with import Nixpkgs. One of the conventions that Nixpkgs review does is that within this directory, there is a Nixpkgs directory which then links to the work tree of the PR checkout. So I can import that, and then I can say that like specifically I want the Python 3.8 package of MS-REST. And here, now if I do Python, you can see I went from 3.7 to 3.8, and then when I do port rest. I'm fine. One thing to note is that if I didn't do this with the pure, hopefully this demonstrates it. Python. No, it will not. Okay, but there's definitely been other packages that have like a huge amount of imports that they'll do, and then eventually what happens is that they'll bring in packages from different package sets and fails. It's actually a common issue, and one of the ways around this is to use Nix-shell to bring in that pure environment. Okay. Is that mostly it? Alright, well thank you so much for going through this little expansion on Nix-shell and how to use Nix-shell in some more advanced cases.